Karen Bonafilio, Outer Realms, Inner Journeys. Hey, we're going to blow your mind today. That's all I can say. This is going to blow your mind and open up your perception and just allow and listen and enjoy. All right. So I have a special guest. Her name is Ardelia Ince. She is a spiritual.
Yes,
She's a spirit. She's a spiritual medium that works in many areas of spirituality. She has been connected to the spirit world for over 40 years. I find that hard to believe. You don't even look that old. She works with clients using singing bowls. We're going to talk about that later. Tuning folks and crystals to balance their energies. She has mentored many individuals with meditation techniques, learning the tarot and trance. In the last 5 years, she's dedicated her time to researching EVP, which is electronic voice phenomena, and ITC, which is instrumental transcommunication. And those are the two things that we're going to talk about today. And she's coming on again a little later. Her main interest is in the occult and various religious practices. Doesn't she just sound fascinating? Would you like to say hello to the audience before I start asking you questions?
I would like to say hello to everybody, a warm welcome from my heart, and thank you so much, Karen, for inviting me onto your show. Thank you very much.
So excited to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and she's in Germany. She's not in the States.
Yes.
So,
hello, guten Tag, grüß Gott. And to all the German speakers out there, hello, and thank you for watching.
do you speak fluent German?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I've been here over 35 years. Yes. It's a must. It's a must. You should be able to speak fluent enough German too. And I speak, read, write, and I also dream in German. So a lot of my dreams at night are also in German.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's interesting. Okay, so a lot of people like me, I'm just learning about this. Can you tell me what EVP and ITC is?
Yes, electronic voice phenomena is EVP, and that's where you use different electronic tools. You can use radio, you can use, people have used before dictaphones, they've used voice recorders, and what I use is voice recorders. I use digital voice recorders. You can use regular tape recorders also to record. And with EVP, is a little different from ITC because with EVP, people usually pick up or they search for random voices, random sounds. EVP is usually a combination of ambient sounds that is considered what the spirits use to form vocals, because we all know that the spirits, they do not have vocal cords. They don't have any vocal cords. So they're not able to use this sound to speak with us, to communicate with us. So what they do is they use the sounds that are created within the air, within the environment. And this is what we use, what we consider EVP. So there are many different ways that you can record with EVP. You can record by just turning on the recorder and sitting and waiting for communication to come forth, or you can go a little bit further and you can build a spiritual team and have a spiritual team of spiritual guides to come forth and communicate with you on the voice recorder. I only use voice recorders. I use all voice recorders from Olympus. For me, Olympus recorders are the best for me with my vibrations. I don't use any of the newer model recorders. I use all of the old ones from like 10, 15 years ago. Okay. Those are the ones that I use to pick up the voices on the recorders. It's only because of the way I've meditated throughout the years. I am not restricted to only picking up random voices. Throughout the years, I've been able to build an entire team of spirits that communicate with me day and night. And so I have no restrictions of when they answer me or when they respond to me. And EVP is something that anybody can do. It's not restricted to anybody that has to be gifted or anybody that has any special abilities.
Oh, really?
Anybody can turn on a recorder, sit with the spirit world, ask the spirit world to come through and try to communicate with you. And it might take maybe a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, but it will happen. And I always tell people that the spirit world is always waiting for an invitation to come and communicate. They're just waiting for the invitations to say, hello, we here and we want to communicate. So when we talk about things like EVP and ITC and receiving these voice recordings, it's not for any specific person. You don't have to be specially gifted for it. Everybody is allowed to connect with the spirit world.
Well, I know that we had a question before we had started this interview, and you used a recorder for that. Can you use phone recorders or voice recorders, or do you have to have more specialized equipment?
I only use for me voice recorders. There are other people in other fields. They use the regular old tape recorders that you used to use. They use those, or they use computers. There's also different ways now where we're going more into the ITC, in a transcommunication where they use white noise or pale noise and allow the spiritual world to form communication voices of communication, using white noise, pale noise, using brown noise, pink noise, but they're using with the computer. So that's when you're moving over towards ITC because you're using more of the form from a computer. But I do it not. I try to keep everything natural. So I use a voice recorder, a digital voice recorder. A person can turn on water and let water run. They can rub their hands on the table, rub the recorder. They can clap in the midair, talk with themselves out loud. And what the spirits do is they use this energy and they create words. They create words and communication to be able to communicate with us. And we're not limited to only English or one language. They can speak in many different languages.
One thing I want to tell our audience, when we were talking and I had asked her a question, she's talking into this recorder and just talking normal. I don't hear anything until she turns on the recorder. That's when you hear spirit speak. It was so cool because I heard nothing until she turned on the recorder. So that was really interesting.
Yes, but we have mediums, of course. We have clairaudient. We have that special ability with mediums,
Yes.
clairaudience that we can hear. And there are a lot of times that we can also hear those little fine frequencies in the air, and we can get those little voices of communication from the spirit world. And there are some times when you sit down and you practice this over and over again, you can actually hear what the spirits are saying within your ear before they say it on the recorder. But what I've noticed with me is I will say it, I will hear what they say on the recorder, and sometimes I have a difficulty listening to what they say. Sometimes I have to connect it to the computer to actually go back and listen to it. But then they will whisper in my ear and tell me exactly what they're saying. And that's another gift that all of us have as humans, being able to. It just takes practice to sit, and everyone has the ability to hear the spirits talking to us. It's everybody has this ability.
Do you teach people how to do that?
I've taught people in the past how to sit and meditate. I always believe meditation is key. If you learn how to quiet your mind and just sit and silence. A lot of people have different techniques of teaching people how to meditate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really concentrated that much on the breathing. I'm more concentrated on just sitting within your own energy. In the on the mediumship side, we'll say it's sitting in the power. For me, it's just sitting with the spirit world, sitting in your reality. That's what I call it, sitting in your reality and inviting the spirit world to come into your reality, because I always say we coexist with everybody. That means all the realities, all the dimensions are mixed in together, and we're all a part of it. So I have taught people before in the past how to sit and just listen to the spirit world. And I'm just going to give a tip. The best way to do this, to start off, if you want to start off meditation and just trying to listen in to not your inner self, but listen to the spirits around you, is you sit in a room by yourself, you leave everything off, and you take earplugs, basic earplugs. You take basic
Oh,
earplugs and put them in your ears. You put them in your ears and you just sit in peace. And at
what a good
certain
idea.
time, yes, you will start to hear small whispers in your ear. You ask the
Really?
spirit world, yes, you ask the spirit world to come and to step into your aura, to step into your energy. And I always tell people when they ask the spirits to step into your energy, it's always arm length. I said, you hold out your arm. If you hold out your arm, that is the arm length of where your spiritual energy is. So I teach a little bit different from other people. I teach it, so I try to keep it as basic as I can. So if you stretch out your arm, that's your arm lift, and that's your space. That's your space, and that's
I
where
like
you invite the
I
spirit
like
world to
that.
come into.
Yeah, and great idea about the earplugs.
You put on the earplugs. You put on the earplugs, and you just sit in silence. And eventually, you will start hearing different frequencies in your ear, different vibrations moving around, and you will eventually start hearing spirits speak. And it's known to happen. And a lot of people, they think that they have to do a lot of stuff like sit and do yoga and sit with music, sit in peace and use earplugs. It's the basic earplugs. Put them in your ear and sit in your room by yourself. And you will start to hear spirits speak with you.
Do trickster spirits ever come through, or are these from the heavenly realms?
Yes, I do deal with because I tell everybody I work in the middle. I work in the middle means that I'm not biased. That means I don't take sides with this side. I don't take sides with this side. I work in the middle, so I allow the spirits to come in their pure self and their pure consciousness and speak to me and communicate with me how they were before they left our physical plane, if they were ever before a human being, because what I call the spirits that were here before on the physical plane, I call them spirit people. So I don't call them ghosts or just spirits. I call them spirit people.
Repeat.
So I give them that respect. They once lived here on the physical plane. So they are still people to me. They're
Yes.
still people. I give them that respect. I don't call them ghosts and, oh, there's a spirit energy. I call them spirit people. And I will usually ask them on my recorders, what's your name? Can you tell me your name? I will introduce myself, and then they will eventually tell me their name, who they are. Sometimes it takes hours, sometimes it takes days. I will invite them and tell them, happy welcome to my house. You're welcome to stay here. And when you decide to tell me your name, you tell me your name, and use the next morning tell me the name. Now we have also spiritual beings. There are different levels. I'm not going to say that the levels are higher or lower, because when I'm doing this, that means I'm being biased. That means that I'm categorizing the spiritual realm, and I'm saying these are better than these down here, or these are lower and these are higher. So everybody's on the same level. Everybody's all together in one big globe, one big energy field, and we're all going to work together. And so there are what you call tricksters that do come in. I really don't even call them tricksters. I usually call them naughties, baddies. And like I was telling you before, I see them as they're standing somewhere in the queue in heaven, and they're waiting, and they decide to cut the line. And I'm going to come there. I'm going to say something that's going to shock her. I'm going to shock the media. I'm going to say something out of the world. I'm going to say something and try to catch your attention. They do catch my attention, but they don't catch my attention in a negative way. And I'm thinking, oh, that's what they said. Okay, they stood there, they waited, they finally realized I can use my energy, my consciousness to communicate with this medium. I'm going to say something really off the wall, really radical, and then I'm going to ride off into the night, and then I'm excited. But I don't get upset with this. I try to understand the spirits and try to meet them at exactly where they are. So I give them all that respect. I give them the respect and I give them the love to say, okay, well, maybe you just want to say something that's a little negative, but if you think about it, as humans, we also sometimes get into that mood where we want to be a little bit negative, and we don't always wake up so happy with the world, and we don't send sunshine out to the world every time we wake up in the morning time, or we go out throughout the day.
Mhm.
So I have to
Mhm.
give them also that respect. So yeah, they do come in. The difference is when they come in like this, if you're a medium or if you understand the spiritual realms, you learn to respect them. And then of course you have other fields of spirituality where people want to they build and they feed off that the negativity from the spirits so that they can entertain. And I
Yeah.
always tell people it's not about entertaining, it's about meeting the spirit halfway and finding out what happened and why you're angry, um, why you're not in a good mood, why are you communicating like this, and maybe we can join energies and you can share your story. And so that's what I always tell people. Don't be afraid if you happen to have a connection like this and you run into a spirit that maybe said something that was a little negative. Because if you think about it, I mean, in the world of the physical world we live in, I think it's
Mhm.
more negativity going on here than it is in the spiritual world.
Oh,
And it's
yes.
not like the Hollywood portrays that they're going to come through the wall and grab you and pull you and yank you and everything like this. They're just trying to get your attention. And sometimes
Mhm.
they're trying to get your attention so that you can say, hey, oh, something here's going on. And then they're able to tell their story. So I always go through with love, always with love and respect.
And do you have teams that always come to you when you ask for them from the collective?
Yes, yes. I have Adam. He's the main one that comes through. He's the main one that comes through. I have one that's
Mm.
called Abraham that comes through. Sometimes he comes through and says he's Abraham. Sometimes he's Abraham. Usually
Mhm.
if he comes through, he gives me exact dates. He'll give me only dates. He'll come through and say something like June 5th. And then I hear nothing else for the rest of the day. And then sometimes I have to wait to find out what's going to happen on June the
What?
5th. And then usually when he comes through like this being, I'm not going to call him or her, but it
Mhm.
sounds like a manly voice when he comes through. But I know in the spiritual world, there is no female or male. They're all one. They're all one. And they change their voices sometime on their quarter just to balance out the energies to maybe try to relate to us. So when Abraham comes through, he only give me dates. He'll give me dates, or he might come through and say, oh, an earthquake's going to happen. And I'll ask him, where's the earthquake? And I'll get nosy and he'll give me numbers and I'll look through the coordinates and I can't find the coordinates. And he'll tell me something. There are going to be a lot of people that's going to be unalived. And sometimes I'll take that chance and I'll post it on my social network Facebook page, and I'll wait and see what's going to happen. I'll
Yeah.
pray, of course, to the heavens and say, okay, I hope everyone's blessed. And usually a couple of weeks later, there's an earthquake. Now, I can't prove that what he told me was the exact earthquake because he didn't give me the exact location,
Yeah.
but he
No
gives
specific.
me those worldly things that's going to happen, or if someone's going to tell me something about and all market's going to happen. And I can't, of course, post things like this on my social network because I don't want to, my job is never to put fear into someone to make people maybe have fear. Oh, they see a post from me and they think, oh, this almost going to happen. And maybe they are just enjoying life and they're looking at because of my Facebook post, and they're looking and waiting for something to happen. But usually it happens a couple of days, a couple of weeks later, there's something that happens somewhere in the world. So maybe I'm fortunate that they don't give me the coordinates of what's going to happen, because I don't want to instill fear into people by
People.
having them look at my post and think, oh, I can't
Mhm.
enjoy my day today because this is good. This is going to happen.
Mm.
But I have
Can
different
you?
ones. I have different ones that come through for
Okay.
different things. They come through.
Oh.
I have Elizabeth that comes through. She's a woman. She comes through. She usually comes through if I'm feeling a little sad or feeling a little depressed. Every
Mm.
day is not a happy day for everybody. Well, I tell people we're all normal. We're all human. And we wake up sometimes and you just sad with the world. You just wake up sad for no reason. You just wake up and you're sad.
Yeah.
And so usually she comes to and she's very she'll confront me and she'll ask me, are you sad? And she'll tell me, be happy today. And then she'll run off into the night, whatever she does, and then she's gone. But she's part of it, but she's there to bring the balance in when I'm feeling sad. I wake
And
up because as mediums and people who work with spiritual work, the spiritual work and empaths and people who do tarot cards and readings and healings, we always have this connection. And sometimes we want to portray to the world that everything is glowing and everything is happy and everything is beautiful. No, it's not, because we have so many spirits that we are sharing the energies with, and they come through and they come within our realm, into our auras, and they share with us their feelings. And so we're not always happy. We're not always excited about life and about everything. We get into those moods where we wake up or we go through the day and we're sad for no reason at all. But we know that the spirit's around and they want to share something. So we're always living, I tell people, almost 6 or 7 toes within on the other side, because we're half here, and we're half over there. And so we're sharing our lives with our friends, our loved ones, our neighbors here, our work colleagues here, but then we're also sharing it with the spirit world. And we're sharing the most intense part of the emotions with the spirit world.
And I so agree, because I feel like sometimes one foot is in this world and one foot is in the spiritual world. And I
Yes,
don't think people understand that, but yeah.
I would tell people I have 8 toes in the spiritual world because I communicate with the spirit world from the time I wake up in the morning time. The first thing I do, usually when my husband wakes me up in the morning, he wakes me up, tells me wake up, and I'm always in a daze. And he leaves the room. The first thing I do before I get out of bed is I turn on my recorder.
Oh, do you?
I have recorders beside my bed. That means that at the moment that I wake up, I include the spirit world in my daily life. I lay
Oh,
in the bed before I get up. My bladder's already pressing. I'm already like, okay. I'm not gonna, before I put my foot on the floor out of the bed, I'm greeting spirit. I'm greeting spirit. I'm telling them hello. You all are welcome to communicate with me today. You all are welcome to join me throughout the day. I reach over from my recorder every morning, 365 days out of the year. I turn it on. I tell my spirit team, I tell all the spirits that are around me, all the spirits that are in the heavens, good morning. I love you all and welcome, and thank you for allowing me to communicate with you today. And I turn it on and say good morning, and they will tell me back, good morning. Good morning, Ardelia, is what they tell me back. Good morning, Ardelia. Then, when I hear that, I put my foot, I move it off the bed, I put it on the floor, and then I'll go to the restroom. But I don't get out of the bed. The first thing I do when I open my eyes, of course,
wow.
my spouse tells me good morning. It's normal, good morning. But my first thing is to turn on my recorder and to greet the spirit world that has guided me through, I would say, through the night. On my journey while I was sleeping, I would say they watched out for us. They watch out for us tonight when we're sleeping. I greet them in the morning. And they are the last the last beings that I speak to before I go to bed every night. They are the last ones. So they are with me in the morning. They are the first ones that I spiritually greet. And they're the last ones that I spiritually greet before I close my eyes to go into dreamland every night. So
Do you think
it's a family affair.
do you think those of us can do that with our phone recorder and have success, or do we
Yes,
have
yes.
okay.
I've never tried it with my phone recorder, but I know there are a lot of people I know in Europe that use these phone recorders. You use whatever you want. Spirit will always lead you. Spirits are going to always lead you to what you should use. If you really feel it inside of you that you should use your phone recorder, use your phone recorder.
I'm
Some
doing
people
that right.
Some people use their tablets. Some people use their computers. Some people use recorders. I mean, people use whatever you feel like you want to use. Spirit's always going to let you know,
Oh my,
okay, I'm giving you a feeling. This is what you want to use. And so I don't live one day without without the spirit world. First thing I do when I wake up, I greet them. Before I go to bed at night, I'll greet my husband, tell him good night, I love you. But before I shut my eye, the last words I say is always to my spirit team. It's always to my
And you
spirit
leave
team.
that on all night.
No, I don't leave it on. I turn it off.
Okay.
I'll turn it on at nighttime before I go to bed. I tell them I love them, and I always tell them I see you all in my dreams, because
Mhm.
I've done so much experiments, so many experiments with them, where I tell them, teach me, meet me in my dreams, introduce yourself, and teach me in my dreams.
And
Teach
you
me.
remember those?
I remember the dreams. They're very vivid. And they will tell me before I go to bed, see you in your dreams. We love you.
Gosh.
And I'll sit there sometimes with my husband beside me in the bed, and poor thing, he's trying to go to sleep, and he's really has to wake up the next morning and work. And I'm sitting there recording, like, did you hear it? Did you hear it? Did you hear it? And I had to record it in his ear. And he's like, I'm trying to sleep. I'm like, no, you're not asleep. You listen to me because you're talking back. Did you hear what the spirit said? He said, I heard what they said. Now go to sleep and leave me alone. But that's what I do. I wait for them to respond, and they respond to me every night and tell me they love me, and they'll see me in my dreams, and good night. And
Sorry,
that is
I'm getting so
every night. So they are a part of my relationship. They're a part of my life. They're a part of my everyday. Every day
wow.
I breathe, I wake up and I speak to the spirits. There's sometimes that I might have spirits that come through. Usually if I'm home alone at night, if he's on a business trip, that's when usually the spirits, like I would say, act up, like it raises a little bit. They're like, she's home alone. So now we're gonna wait till she go to bed, and we're gonna let her know that we're standing here right beside her bed. I mean, I've had times where I've laid in the bed and I've turned it on. I knew I was alone, and I said good night, and then someone would tell me, a spirit, I'm coming in the bed with you.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, but sometimes I think they're waiting for a reaction from me. They're waiting for a reaction, like something scared. I'm going to get up and stage the house. No, I tell them, okay, hey, do what you have to do. I'm going to turn the lights off. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go to sleep now. Have fun and good night. And they're so clear. I have some recordings I can send you. They're so clear where they're standing right beside my bed. I can hear the breathing, and I still haven't figured out how they project the breathing in my recorders, where I can hear them breathing right beside my bed. And usually when it's like this, I can feel them. I will get the hair will stand up, the little fuzz on my arms will stand up, and they're right beside me. It's almost like I can feel them, the pressure in the air right beside me. And I know they're there. They're not
Mm-hmm.
causing any harm. They're just there. I
There.
know they're not going to do anything to me because I'm very welcoming. And I know that a lot of the Hollywood stuff that goes on is just the Hollywood stuff. And if they really
Right.
want to do something to me, it would have been done years and years and years ago. And so they're just showing their presence. The more that I welcome them, the more that they show up.
I'm
And
telling you, if
I'm
you
not
explain to
afraid.
me,
I'm not afraid.
hmm no, 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 no. I'm not getting that at all. All I know
Yeah.
is I'm getting chills, chills, chills. Thing you're saying, and I'm freezing over here.
And I try to tell everybody they're always around all of us,
Hmm.
all the time. We walk into so many different realities during the day. We walk into them in different rooms, in the supermarket, the doctor's office, and shopping, outside walking. We walking right into their realities that they are living in. And we're walking right into them. And when you feel like you're walking somewhere, and you feel like you have chills, or you feel that small breeze across your face, like someone just touched you, you know that sometimes you can feel like you feel a little nauseous when you're walking somewhere. I tell people, walk into a room, you feel a little nauseous. It's not because there's a negative spirit. It's because you're walking into their reality. Their reality is sometimes a little bit stronger than ours.
Yeah.
It's not darker than ours. It's just heavier. It's heavier. It
Mm.
doesn't mean that that's negative because you feel heavy. It just means that you're walking into their realities. And take that with you, and you should embrace it. That's what you should do, embrace it,
Oh man, yeah, I
because we
will.
all
I'm
coexist.
not scared. Mm-mm.
Yes,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Do you have some memorable experiences that you can share that you've had with EVP? Because you do the EVP more than the ITC.
Yes, I don't use the white noise that much. There is a friend of mine, Keith J. Clark, which I did tell you about before. He has a program on YouTube. It's called Paranormal, and he has it on there, and it's 24 hours, 7 days a week, and it's running. And you can join with other people, and you can have make experiments with learning to speak and communicate with the spirits, and you can also see visual images of the spirit world. My mostly, I would say the ones that really got me, really says, "Hey, this is here." I bought an 1870 Bible off of Etsy during lockdown, and I bought it, and I was like, I don't know why I want this Bible, but this Bible is just beautiful. It's big, it's old, it has that raunchy smell to it. And I had talked with the seller because he worked at a church, and I had talked to him for days whether or not I can get this Bible shipped over to Germany. And I brought it home, and I looked at it, I took it out the package, and I put sage on it, and I put it up on the table, and I put a recorder on it, and I walked away. And when I came back after 5 minutes, the spirit world said, a big heavy voice says, "Bless you." I still have this. This is on YouTube. "Bless you." And I looked, and I fell to my knees. And that's when I knew that I was blessed by the divine. Didn't know what the divine is. I still don't know exactly, because they talk about the heavens all the time. But when they talk about heavens, they say the heaven is within us, is what they told me. Heaven is within us. It's not up, it's not down, it's not on the
Right.
left, it's not on the side. Heaven is within us. So
Mhm.
I had to get away from growing up in a Pentecostal church environment,
Oh, you're kidding.
Christian
Pentecostal?
church, where
Woo!
everything, if you do something wrong, you're going to get punished for it, and God is always watching. And it took me a long time to understand when they would tell me these things, because it actually clashed against my beliefs. I'm like, no, this is not true. This is heaven. Heaven is up there, and this is down
Yeah.
below, and this is the bad stuff. And it's like, no, heaven is within you. Heaven is within you. That's where it is. We are within you. Heaven is inside of you. It's not above, it's not down, it's everywhere, but it's inside of you. That's where heaven is. So I had to
Ardelia,
relearn all of those stuff. So
you
that was the
do.
first one that I had, where they came through, and they talked, and they said, "Bless me." And I felt at that moment, I felt really blessed. I felt like, wow, they're really thinking of me that much to tell me that they're
Yes.
blessing me. There've been other times. I think there was one I had, even a very sensitive one I had 2 weeks ago, where I was just feeling depressed. I was thinking like, oh, I'm getting, I get the 54-year-old mode where I'm like, back in the day I did this, and back in the day I did this, and I was a tiger here, and I felt like a lion here, and now tired all the time, and it's just everything is normal, but it's like, wow, there's nothing like when you reminisce on the backside of life. And they came through, and they told me, "You're worthy.
They said what?
You're worthy. You're worthy. I'm worthy. I'm worth it." WORTHLY. And I looked at my husband. I said, "They said I'm worthy." He said, "Yeah, of course you're worthy. You mean a lot to me." I said, "Yeah, but the spirit world said it too." I said, "Man, I don't care what you say. I mean, and sometimes I don't like you. It's really amazing what you say. It's the spirit world telling me I'm worthy." And he said, "Yes, you are worthy. You mean a lot to me." I'm like, "No, not you. I'm talking about the spirit world. They told me that I'm worthy, and then I'm okay." And then he said, "Okay." He said, "Are you happy now?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm happy now." That they told me this, and those were times when
Oh
they
God.
really touched me. Or times when we had a friend, a really close friend of ours, I think I told you before, that passed away with cancer. And it really stuck to us. It really took the whole community, the whole village, really, because everybody's so close in the village. Every street,
Oh,
everybody, every farmer, everybody knows everybody. And it was on a Saturday night that I was just on the recording, and I was sending up my prayers for our friend Ingo, and I was just asking the angels and heaven and spirit. And when you're like this, you just praying for everybody. You praying for anything to come and give that
Yeah.
person a little peace, because you see that they're suffering, and you pray for everything. You're praying and asking for every angel, every God, every divine, everything. Please come and help this person. And I had seen that my husband was going through so much that whole week of he was just exhausted working and being at the hospital every day, and I had to give him that space, and I said, spend a night there, take a bed there, take a mattress. I have to give him that space to spend this time, to give all his dedicated time to this friend of ours. You have to do it. It's part of your journey. And I was sitting around on my recorder that Saturday night, and spiritual beings came in and said, the angels are coming for him on Tuesday. And I'm sitting there,
Oh,
I'm thinking, do I tell my God that the angel's coming for him on Tuesday? Do I tell his wife? Do I tell our friends? Visit him as much as you can, because on
hard
Tuesday they know my
question.
work is going to be his last day. But how do I do this in an ethical way? I really can't do it this way. And I told my husband, and he listened, and of course he was always sad. And then that Tuesday that he died, he came home that Tuesday afternoon, and he says, I'm exhausted. I can't go back to the hospital tonight. I need a break. I'm exhausted. He was really out of air. And that night, that Tuesday night at 2 o'clock in the morning, we got a phone call from his wife that our friend Ingo had transitioned. And
Now,
2 days,
did,
yeah,
did you tell anybody
I told my
when you
husband. He
only your
heard
husband?
he heard the video. I wanted to share this with other friends that knew of my work, but we live in a village where it's like, I'm accepted. They know what I do. They're friends with me. Everybody barbecues together, and we go out and hang out together and everything. But there's certain things that I think I would have crossed the line, because everybody was in a very sad state, because we didn't know how long he really had. It was all of a sudden, you go to doctor in 4 months later, and you go to doctor and they tell you, oh, you have 6 weeks left. Get yourself together. So everybody was trying to join in together and help everybody to get over this. And then when he passed 2 days, the second day after he passed, he came through my recorder. He came through my recording. He says, Ingo loves Gerhard. And he had told my husband this on the night that my husband left the hospital. My husband left the hospital that Tuesday morning. He said, yeah, Ingo told me that he loved me. And he came right through with his
Oh,
voice. He came through 2 days later. And
that's lovely.
it's beautiful. And I had a little spirit child that came through also with him and told
Mhm.
me, she said, you're an angel. A little child says, you're an angel. And it came through, and I put it all together on my WhatsApp, and I gave it to my husband. And that's why he has this now with him on his phone forever. But it helped him. And he
Mhm.
told me a month later, he said, thank you for helping me get through this. I
Mhm.
would not have done it if you had not been able to communicate with the spirit world, and he wouldn't have came through. So
Mhm.
he knows that he's okay. And we talk to him all the time. We talk to him and said, hey, Ingo, how you doing? And even my husband, very logical man, he'll come through and say,
Mhm.
hey, Ingo, that's Ingo. I'm going to play a song now for Ingo, or we'll cook something. He said, Ingo, you're welcome to come and sit with us for dinner. And I'm like, yeah, if Ingo actually appeared at the table, you probably would pass out. He said, yeah, I probably would. But in case, we're still going to ask him how, to invite us. But I helped him at a special time when he really was faced with a lot, with losing his best friend. And I didn't really think that my mediumship or my communication with the recorder would ever have any value at all. Would ever have any value at all. Really would have any
Boy,
value. I'm
hear
thinking,
that.
okay, I'm doing EVP, talking to the spirits, they're answering questions. But this was the most time when I knew that spirit world was really, really there. And another time it came through, that was 2 years ago, when I had my surgery for my for my oh, what do I call it here? My lymph, I don't call them shield throughs, the thyroids, my thyroids. I had a
Oh,
thyroid removed. I was having a lot of pain one night, and I had been to the doctor, and the doctor says, "No, it's okay. It's okay, Ardelia." He said, "We're just gonna keep monitoring. It's okay." And I woke up one morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I asked my Adam spirit guys. I said, "What's wrong with my throat?" I said, "This." I said, "I know my thing here with my thyroid." I said, "Is this pain? Is this really going to cause me trouble?" They said, "You're going to get cancer. Take it out." I
oh,
woke up like,
really?
yeah, and I shook my bed. I said, "Karen, I'm going to die of cancer." And he said, "No, leave me alone. I'm going to get cancer. I'm going to die. We have to go back to the doctor." And he's like, I'm trying to sleep. It's always with me. I'll wake him up. I'm like, listen to the recording. And I put it in his ear and rip the covers back. You got to listen right now. And I went to Dr. The 2 weeks later to a different doctor, and it was already 80% rotten, one side of the
Oh my
thyroid. And they
gosh, you're
said,
kidding.
it's a good that you came by. They said, because it could have developed into something else.
Oh, that's so
And
good. Oh
the
my God.
spirit told me to go to the doctor. You're gonna get cancer. Take it out.
And you're telling me that everybody can do this. Everybody can connect like the way you connect. There ain't nothing
E-
special about you.
Everybody can connect. I tell everybody you can connect. Everybody has this freedom to connect to the spirit world.
Ah,
I think that we put limitations on ourselves. And I
mhm.
think that society plays a large role in it, and telling people you can't do this. This only can happen if you do this, or if you do this, if you do this, if you do this. No, no. It's all about just opening yourself up and connecting with the spirit world.
Okay.
And I've done things for businesses. I've done things for clients where they wanted to know they wanted to know they know I'm gonna talk about this, about the employees, is the employee really sick? And I can't say this is have to be ethical, because if they come to me as a client and they have a question about something that's concerning, it's up to the spirit world to decide whether or not we're going to answer the question. If they think that if the person's asking me the question, they're going to benefit for something positive, then they will answer it. If they think that something's going to happen negative to the person, then they're going to tell me terminate. We're not going to answer. So I've had times where I've had people that own companies come and ask me, my employee is really sick, and the spirits will tell them, he, they're on vacation, and that's where they are, and they're in this country on vacation, and they find out that is true. Now, whatever happens afterwards, I don't know, but I've noticed that the spirit world, they love communicating with people that are honest. They always tell me that I'm innocent, and I'm always thinking, I don't know if I'm innocent. I'm 54. I've done some crazy stuff. I've done some really crazy stuff in my life. Nothing to get
Yeah.
arrested for, but really, y'all think I'm innocent. But they see me as someone that doesn't mind telling the truth, and taking the heat for it if I'm telling a lie. So they
Yeah.
love honesty. So that really changed me in on my journey, that you can't sit around and just tell a little white lie. Tell a little white lie. Why it's harder now to tell a little white lie. It's harder
Mhm.
for me now to tell a white lie, because I know that they're watching, they're observing me, and anything that I do that I'm not being honest is not good, and that means it could break it could break the communication.
I know, but sometimes those white lies you
I know
tell.
sometimes, I mean,
You,
even at work, I work in finance. Sometimes you have to tell that client. You can't tell that client the
yeah,
honest what's going on.
because you
And
don't
I
want to
think
hurt their feelings.
they understand that part. But I'm talking about
Okay. Okay.
not being honest with your friends, not being honest with your family, not being
Okay.
honest with
Got it.
people that you like, or not being honest with yourself.
Hmm.
They really want people to be honest and just be tell the truth,
Open
tell the
and
truth, be
vulnerable.
open and tell the truth. They don't like people that are being deceitful, that are tricking people, um doing things, um planning conspiracies and doing things that just making people feel bad and
Right.
hurtful. They
Yeah.
want you to tell the truth. And I think when people learn that they should learn how to tell the truth more often, the more the communication gets stronger, because the spirits, they see that you're worthy of telling the truth. And then they
Mhm.
want to work with you, because I've never had a communication where a spirit has told me something and tried to trick me in that manner. Uh,
Right.
you have tricksters out there that'll come through and tell you, sometimes they come to tell me, "Oh, you're so beautiful." I'm like, I'm sitting here, I just got out of the bed. Okay, you tell me I'm beautiful. I look in
I
the
am
mirror. I
not
know
you. Yeah.
this is not a 54. You're beautiful at this moment, my friend, buddy. Go somewhere and tell somebody else this stuff, or they'll come through, but they're very caring. And it's
Mhm.
all about telling the truth and being honest, especially
Honest.
in the spirit work. Tell the truth. If you're in a connection with someone and you don't feel the connection of that loved one right away, don't lead the person on to keep them thinking that you're still connecting when you're not connected. You tell the person, "Hey, I'm sorry to sitter. I'm not connected anymore. I don't have the connection. Either
Right.
you want your money back or we can reschedule, but don't mislead." Because they told me that they see everything. They
Interesting.
see everything. So it's always, sometimes I'm thinking, "Oh, do I want to do something that's a little conniving?" And I have to think about it. Like,
No.
I'm like,
No.
"Oh, they're they're really watching. They're really watching us." And it's been proven to me so many times that they're watching what we're doing. I think one time, I think last summer, my partner, he was going for a walk every morning. He walks every morning 13 kilometers, and he was still in the phase of smoking and not smoking. But he wasn't telling me he was still smoking. But I'm like, okay, if you smoke, I'm not. It's nothing I can do about this. It's your lungs. I do vape. And I'm sitting here talking with the spirits, drinking my coffee, and I turn on my recorder, and it said, "Get out smoking." I'm thinking, like, I didn't even ask a question about him. And when they walked back in the door, I said, "You've been smoking?" I said, "I thought you told me a couple of days ago that you stopped." He said, "Yeah, I sat on the bench and smoked one cigarette." I said, "Here's the recorder. This is what they
Busted.
said." And he's like, I'm like, "Listen, listen, listen, listen." Instead, he's smoking. And so he just laughed it off. But
See
they
you.
do see, they see everything. And so that kind of like create space by me. It's almost like I have no privacy. I know I have no privacy. I
Mhm.
don't think that it's nothing negative that they do when they're watching. I know that there are times I've come out of the shower or the bath and I hear a knock on the table, I call the recorder, and they tell me, "We can see you." And I'm like, "Okay, well, it's not like I can hide anything, because I know that you all are all over the place."
So I have a
Um,
question for you. I don't mean to interrupt, and I got
yeah,
to wrap
no,
this
please
up a little.
do. It's your show.
Yeah. No, but you are the star. Um, these people that you're talking to, do you consider this your heavenly team? Because I believe we have a heavenly team that watches over us, or is it a
Yes,
different kind of team? Oh, it is a
yes.
heavenly.
I consider my heavy team. I consider them my best friends.
Okay.
I consider them a part of my life, a part of my breath. Like I
Yeah.
said before, I don't. The first thing I do when I wake up is I greet them. I talk to them
Ugh,
out loud during the day. I include them in everything. There might be something that made them going shopping to buy, and I'll ask them, "Should I buy this? What color should I buy? What color blouse should I buy?" And they will give me a color, and I will actually go out to the shopping store and look for that specific color.
and
I
find
will
that.
ask them, "Should I buy a dress or should I buy a pair of pants?" And they'll tell me, "Buy a pair of pants," or they'll tell me, "Buy a dress." And I will actually go out and buy a dress. And then in the
Okay.
process of buying the dress, I know it sounds a little crazy. And I will come back and I will let them know, "Hey, I bought this dress. I hope you'll like it." And they tell me, we like it. We like it. It's pretty."
Looks really nice.
So
Yeah.
I include them in. I would say I have more friends in the heaven than I have on earth.
Oh
And so
yeah.
I
No,
know that when I go over to the side, I'm going to have a lot of friends, because the
you
spirits,
are.
they call me also by my name on the recorders. They call me by my name, my full name. They call me Ardelia. "Hello, Ardelia. Good morning, Ardelia. How you doing, Ardelia?"
Okay, so we got to cut this short now. So people can contact you, and I have your information if
Yes,
they'd like to have a reading with you or talk to you more. Would that be accurate to say?
yes, they can contact me. They can contact me on Facebook on Messenger. They can contact me on insighttarot@gmail.com. They can also contact me there, and I'll answer any questions.
Okay.
I don't mind answering any questions for anyone, because we have to be able to share the work. And we have to understand that it's not just for one particular person or one particular ability. We're all the spirits living in a human body. And the more that we share with other people, and the more we try to help take away the fear of communicating with the spirit world, the more that we all could live together happy.
Oh,
That's
wow.
that's just the way I'm thinking about it. And that's what I want to share.
Okay. Wonderful. We'll get those links on there. And she's going to be coming back for some other things. So get ready. Thank you so much.
Thank
Blessing.
you.
Love to you.
And thank you to all the beautiful viewers out there that have been watching. Thank you all, and have a blessed week.
Okay. Thank you.
May God be
We'll
with
talk
you. Thank
soon.
you. Thank you.